Okay, so today we have Marc on with us on our Unfiltered Grief. Hi, Marc, welcome.
How are
And
you?
it's an honor to have you here today. Um, we kind of got thrown into a loop together. I seen you on a podcast and I was immediately drawn to you because your connection and our boys actually were the same age.
Hmm.
Marc has lost his son. I don't even like to say lost, but he graduated to heaven, I should
Mm.
say. That was May 26th, coming up on 1 year. And his name's Beck, and he was 13 years old. So, Marc, if you want to kind of start off a little bit about Beck and that day and what had happened, just to give the viewers a background on your life.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the opportunity. I think it's really special what you're doing and our boys are very, very happy about things like this. It brings joy to their soul. Beckham was larger than life. He was just a small little guy, but thought he was the biggest, baddest, strongest dude everywhere he went. So all the confidence in the world, but also like one of his mottos was it's cool to be kind. So he was very, very confident, but he loved other people. One of the things I love the most about him is he was so good at expressing his love. He'd come in every morning once he'd woken up, give me a hug, kiss me on the forehead, tell me he loved me. And he was just so, so good at expressing his love. Um, He always had a candy wrapper. He was really crappy at eating good food. He all he wanted to do is have a good time. We joke around at the house that once he graduated to seventh grade and it was time to have 8 classes instead of one, he was like, "I'm out, dude. This is going to be too hard. I'm going
Yeah,
back to having a good time."
I
So
say the same thing about Roman.
he loved to laugh, to mess around, to and to express himself. So that was Beck. He was a fantastic athlete. He loved basketball. He loved footballs. I coached him for several years, so it was one of our favorite places to be together. It was on the field or on the court, and yeah, no health problems. Just a happy, living his best life boy. So that was Beckham. Um, on the day of the accident, I had left, so he'd gone to swim in our pool. We had a pool in the backyard, and he could swim. I mean, he'd done it 100 times by himself. And so he went out to swim. He asked his brother if his brother wanted to swim, and none of his brothers wanted to swim, so he went and swam by himself. Again, it had been done many times before. I left to go with my oldest son to grab his suit for church that day. And when I got back, I walked out. My daughter actually ran in and was just sobbing. I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened? And I walked out onto to the deck, and there he was on the ground getting resuscitated by our neighbor. And just to give you some context, like I feel like, and I told this story to his funeral, I feel like I probably had 20 or 30 conversations with God that was like, look, man, been through divorce, mixed families, 2 kids with special needs. I've got all of these things. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, you can give me anything. Please just don't take Beckham. And it's not because I love my kids any less. Like, we connected at such a high level. And so I had so many combos where it's like, give me one of everything, but just like don't take Beckham. And so to walk out on that deck and to see him down there was obviously just an indescribable feeling. And I threw my keys on the ground and I ran downstairs. By that At that exact point, the paramedics were getting there. They started to work on him, and I just knelt next to him and grabbed his hand and just fought with him, and truthfully, I didn't feel like there was a single second that went by where I didn't think he was going to take another breath. Like even when we got up to run to the hospital and the ambulance took him, I'm like, dude, it's gonna be just fine. We're gonna get there. They're gonna resuscitate him. It's gonna be great. And like, babe, let's go. It's gonna be fine. Like they're gonna figure it out. And we got to the hospital and for about 15 minutes they kept working on him. And as I've said many times before, you just will never forget when the doctor kind of calms the team
Hmm.
down and says, "Hey, we're gonna shut it down." And I mean, then it's just, yeah, pure. I mean, so many different emotions once it's that's really the end of it. So that was the story of his passing.
Yeah, that's rough, and I can relate to, like, I was there with my son as well, and even in those moments it was like he all the evidence was there that he was gone, but like my husband performed CPR on him. We were in an ATV accident, and he was gone instantly.
Mm,
Hindsight, it's a blessing because he didn't suffer, but
mhm,
yeah, we fought tooth and nail. We were in the middle of a forest. EMS had to try to find us, and my husband tried to resuscitate him for a good 45 minutes before they could even get there. But
mm,
the moment that they told me, you're not going in the ambulance with him, I like then I was like, okay, I kind of was prepared to hear the worst,
sure,
right? And
sure.
then it was the same thing. It's like when you're at the hospital and they're like, they're calling it, yeah, it's heavy, right? And there's
It
just
is.
it's a reality that you never think is going to happen to you.
No,
But if you believe, what do you believe? Do you believe in these soul contracts at all, or what's your belief on the afterlife in terms of that?
absolutely. Like stronger than ever before. And the thing that's the most precious to me, um, is that I get to keep talking to him. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I was actually, as I was getting prepared for this podcast, was just thinking how like, dude, he was my best friend, and in some ways my relationship has gotten better since he passed away. It's actually so cool. So yes, afterlife, absolutely. And not only that, but we work together so much with the other side. They just love to help us in any way they can to make it home safely. And so 100% talk with him every day.
Yeah. And they say that, it is just the truth when people pass before their time, they have the greatest impact. They have, they make ripples, That's not to say that,
Mm-hmm.
80-year-olds and 90-year-olds lives don't matter. They do. But when young people pass, it's like communities and
Totally agree.
movement happens, right?
Well
So it's
said.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, they say only the strongest souls take
Mm,
this path,
mm,
right? Because not only do they continue to guide and help their families on that side, it's also us that has to take the courage and fight for them still.
absolutely. Very well said.
Yeah. So now obviously you've brought up that you can still connect with Beck, which is freaking awesome. Have you always felt like you've had that connection, or was this something that had started after he crossed over?
So we always were extremely connected. That's why it was like when I was going through my divorce and I hit rock bottom, like just his presence was so powerful for me. He pulled me out of some really tough situations, circumstances, and the like who I was at that point. And so connection was always there. When he passed on, about 3 or 4 months earlier, I had been introduced to breath work, and I believe in God, and so I talk to him every day. And traditionally, it was fold my arms, close my eyes, say my prayers. Well, then I got into this breath work, which raises your vibration and thins the veil. When we raise our vibration, it thins the veil because I believe that heaven's actually right here. It's just at a higher vibration. So I learned this breath work, and I'm like, you know what? I'm already laying in my closet. I'm just going to do my prayers while I'm here. And I started to pray that first time, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like you're literally right here. And again, it's that's when I realized when I breathe and I raise my vibration, like the veil is so thin. And so when he passed away, I'm like, I know how to talk to the other side really, really well. There is not going to be a day that goes by that I don't talk to him. And that has been true ever since.
Well, I think that that's even divine intervention because the fact that you started this breath work just 3 months before his passing is, just again, it's more evidence. It's like I always say, I'm like, these things are destined to happen. I believe,
Hmm.
I believe in
No
fate.
question.
But God provides us still. So it's like he's there before, he's lining up things before, he's there during, and he's definitely continues to be there after. So I think that that's super cool that, that this is living proof that they
Yeah.
divinely connect with us.
Lots of
Um,
dots connected. If we pay attention and we open ourselves up, there's a lot of dots that connect. Tons of them.
yeah, it's all the synchronicities and you can't deny them. They're so
Mm-mm.
present. Now, I know we've chatted about this before, but you go into your closet every morning and you kind of let your grief out. So you've learned, I would say, to control when you grieve. I'm sure you still have moments when it hits you out of nowhere, but for the majority of it, you let yourself go. And is there any advice that you could give people that,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be great.
It's the best advice. I've been given a lot of great advice. The best advice I've been given since he passed is my therapist said, let me, because I asked her, help me know the best path of grief. She's like, well, everybody's grief is a little bit different, but let me give you some insight. And she said, when you grieve, set an alarm on your phone for 10 minutes and you go there. Like you got to feel it to heal it, right? And so during these grief sessions, I'm looking at the the videos. I'm listening to the songs. I'm going there and it takes
You're
me
going
to
there.
some really, really deep places, but I cannot even begin to tell you how much it heals my heart every single time. So every morning in my closet for 10 minutes. I am taking myself to the depths of grief so that I can really bring it to the surface and heal it. And sometimes it happens 2 or 3 times in a day. But I feel like what that does is it sets the tone for the rest of the day so that my heart is prepared for what's about to what this brings, right? And so that has been such incredible advice. And once that 10 minutes is up, I shift my perspective from grief to, okay, remember where he's at and the fact that he doesn't want to come back. He loves it up there. So I kind of shift my perspective from the sorrow to the purpose, right?
Yeah. So going back to your connection with Beck, did that start immediately after he crossed, or was it like a couple days later? Did you feel connected almost instantly? And how
Great
did you
questions.
recognize that?
Great question. I love the question. So here's the story. So he passes. There's so many people at our house. Our family's over, loving on us, taking care of us. My personality is to just be like, hey, how are you doing? Like, how can I hold a space for you? That's just my personality. And my wife was off cleaning out lockers and just like going through things. And she's very, very tapped into the other side. So she was asking him, hey, what do you want me to keep? What do you want me to give away? Like, and they were kind of conversing and she said, hey, Holly, my dad is he's taking care of other people. Like, I really need to talk to him. So will you tell him to go in the closet? So she came and she said, hey, Beck wants to talk to you. So I went in my closet. And for me, I don't hear him like I'm hearing you. I just hear his voice inside my head. That's how and then I feel him very, very strongly. So the first question I asked was, but like two questions. Did you suffer? And are you okay? Like, because your papa heart, your mama heart's like, he dies instantly. Is he okay? Like, we still have each other down here. Like, what do you have up there? And it was just so calming to know like he didn't suffer and that like, Dad, to be honest with you, it's amazing up here. I freaking love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. And I had to actually, when I was having a really, this is actually some really good, something that helped me tremendously. When I was feeling it the most, I would go into my closet and I would say, Bud, I'm struggling. Tell me what you've done today. And he would tell me, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, just the lineup of things that they do in heaven is, it's heaven. It's freaking heaven. It's a mix of tons of fun and with joy and learning and teaching. And it's just such a special place. And so that was very helpful to me.
Yeah. I've dove down, the near-death experiences and just every rabbit hole you could possibly imagine.
Hmm.
And there was even parents that, have kids that, they died for 20 minutes or whatever. And they said, even knowing my kids were on Earth, I didn't want to come back. Like they were just immersed in love and light.
Yep.
And so it's
Yep.
hard for us as humans to understand that and to
Hmm.
know that degree of love. But when you get into those meditations, you get a taste of it, right? So
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
So, in terms of what Beck does up there, you were saying a bit about learning and this and that.
Yeah.
Has he given you anything that you could help some parents with that, like, it's very hard to imagine what heaven's like or and what they do exactly. So, anything that you'd love to share that he's, let you know would be great.
It's quite often when I call upon him, he'll come to me with kind of like a shortness of breath. It's like, what are you doing, man? And he's like, I'm playing basketball or I'm throwing a football with my new friends or whatever it is, or I just hustled from a class or whatever it is. And so, um, heaven is, again, one of the things that helped me the most is to know that he loves it so much. And there's just so much learning that goes on up there. And after a certain period of time, you have the opportunity to teach the new angels that are coming in. And there's the blink of an eye. You can be hiking wherever you want to hike and doing and playing basketball. And one of the first things he told me is I got to play basketball with Kobe Bryant. And that was just so special to him. And
Sweet.
that's heaven. Like that's heaven is not, they don't have time in heaven, it's progress. There's no concept of time. It's all concept of progress. And so they're constantly doing and one of the cool things is he says one of the best ways that we progress is by helping those that are still on earth. That's a huge part of our responsibility. And days like Easter where you feel them so strongly, it's because those are the days that people's hearts are open the most to
Mhm.
these types of things, which gives them the best opportunity to help us. And so, for those parents that wonder what their kids are doing, learning, teaching, having a great time, really meeting so many people. Like there's been multiple times where I'm like, hey, I just connected with so and so. Have you met their son Joey? And he'll tell me something about gosh, I can give you 20 amazing, just such incredible stories where I'll go back and tell the person that asked me and they'll get very emotional and they'll be like, that is my dad. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So heaven is such a special place.
And it's just proof that we can all be connected, like even now, I'm like,
Hmm.
our boys are definitely meeting. They're both
No
13. They're
question.
having a great time.
They are.
Um, I do love that you said there is no time there because to us, this feels like an eternity, like
Hmm.
you can feel like an eternity missing someone you love so much, but to them, it's a bleep, in the grand scheme of
Yes,
things, this is one little puzzle piece. We don't have it all figured
totally.
out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really good. So you come from a religious background, correct?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So do I. And, it's been a bit of a struggle for myself, I find, because, most religions have that fear-based type
Sure.
mentality where it's like, you don't cross, you don't talk to the other side, you don't, like there is a little bit of that, I don't want to call it shame, but it kind of feels
Sure.
like it at time, right?
Sure.
So how do you mingle the two or mix the two? Because I talk to quite a lot of parents and they're finding it really hard to, move past the fear of what they've been taught.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's interesting because the religion I grew up in, and the further I get along in my journey, for me it's more about me and God and less about religion, even though religion has some amazing fundamental things. Um, but my religion taught life exists on the other side. But there also is that kind of like woo woo, like, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I'll just tell you, when Beck passed away, I don't care what anybody says. I was going to talk to him. You can say whatever you want about me. You can call me whatever you want.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter to me, right? And what I can say to those that are struggling with it, I was just telling Amanda a story before we got on. Like, I can't even begin to tell you what it means to the angels in heaven to converse with us. It is so special. And so I think that oftentimes those um that have concerns with the other side is I think it's just a traditional belief that like we're not supposed to talk to the other side. But and again, that might bring multiple emotions, but what I've found is the moment that you do, you'll never go back.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly special. And so my religion, I love them. It's amazing, but I'm going to talk to my son. It's the most important piece of my day, and they feel the same way.
Hmm. And, from what I've experienced, it's, there can be light and dark in everything in life, So it's like whenever I've experienced, encountered, the other side, it's always light and light, love and light. So we ask for that though. You know what I mean? Like you were talking to me
Mhm.
earlier and you're saying like, I asked God here, I asked Christ here, and I asked Beck here, So we're only inviting in that type of vibration as love, light,
You
and
know,
I
and
think
I,
that
I
that's a big point.
I think you just answered that so perfectly. In fact, probably one of the concerns of people talking to the other side is bringing in evil spirits. I think that um, it's just like walking down the road and you stop someone in the road. That person could accept you kindly, or that person could be incredibly rude. There's good and there's bad, and sometimes there's going to be good and bad. Most of my experiences has been absolutely incredible. So people just don't need to be concerned. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's really good. No, I appreciate that. I know that that's a big struggle with a lot of parents is the fear. So I think it's nice that we touched on that topic. So
Yes.
you are creeping up to 1 year, and I know that that's, these milestones, no matter how much we've grown in the last bit, or they're heavy, they weigh on you. It's
Mhm.
something you can't ignore, So, how has your grief A changed since the beginning? Like, have you had a big stride? And then B, what I would like to do is, what's your plans for that day?
That's a great question. The evolution of my grief or my progress has gotten better because I feel like I have settled into my purpose of his passing. What I didn't know before is it was all the questions of why and how could it be him, and he's 13 and all the things. And now it's like, dude, if you watch the video of him passing, we have it, you would be like, what happened? I have no idea what just happened. So where my Papa heart has gone is like, it was his time. He was gonna go one way or another. Like that was it. And so I've settled into the purpose of his passing, and really just like how to continue to live his legacy and how to do things like he would want me to do them. And it doesn't mean that it's not hard, but as I've settled into my purpose of the purpose of his passing, and really just like been in tune with the legacy that I'm supposed to live for him, that has helped that has helped me out tremendously. But so is talking to him, so is knowing where he's at. Like from the very beginning, I feel like I was light years ahead because I spoke to him, and just knowing like, dude, what happened when all of us are standing around you trying to resuscitate you? And he's like, Dad, I was already in an eternal state of peace. You guys were in pure chaos. And I was like,
Mhm.
I ain't going back there. Like I feel great. And this was 30 seconds later, you know what I'm saying? And so the evolution of my grief it's just gotten better and better because I settle into the purpose of his passing more and more. And on his anniversary of his passing, it just so happens to be on Memorial Day. And so we got the city to, which they've been so incredible. They're shutting down some streets in the city. And we're doing a big chalk run. It's a 5K run, and people are coming in. We had shirts made, and dude, just rare Beck style, like just celebrating.
That's awesome. Honestly, I love that
Yeah,
you're doing that. That's gonna just add in positivity and make the day feel light and bring back how he would want it to be, right?
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was just gonna touch base a little bit more on that you said that, it didn't make sense that he did cross the way that he did, or
Yeah.
it didn't make like so was he like in the deep end? Was he like what do you mean when you're saying that?
So he was in. We were actually getting our pool. We drained it a little bit to fix a pipe, and so he was shooting hoops on a hoop that's in our pool, which went up to about his thighs, maybe even his knees. There was no reason. And he shoots a hoop, and he just slowly passes out. No brain aneurysms, no contusions, no heart attacks, no electrocutions, nothing.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, as his dad, I can tell you like it was happening one way or another, and I'm so grateful that he went peacefully.
Yeah. And I think that this is a huge, huge piece to sit on for a minute is because guilt is
Mm,
insane, right? Like as a parent.
mm-hmm.
But when you have somebody, a child especially, pass, the guilt can be all consuming, Like, and I've
Mm,
even dealt with that. I'm like, me and my son traded helmets literally 5 minutes before his
mm,
accident. So it's like
mm.
if I just didn't do that, or so
Yeah.
you can spin here and play these, but what I've really came to understand and what Roman has told me myself as well
Hmm.
is nothing could have changed. It's all
Yes.
as it was. And they say that
Mm-hmm.
like even the morning of things just were different that morning. It wasn't like a warning
Mm-hmm.
sign or anything. It just like something was different. And they say
Mm,
that it's like the stage fright. It's like you have a big event coming up and you feel it. We forget it because
mm,
we get amnesia when
mm,
we come here, but it's like we knew we were lining up to that place that time that, this was going to happen. And I think that parents really got to let go of the guilt and know that like truthfully we're not bigger than God's plan, like
no,
we can't
no.
decide those things.
That's so powerful. And yes, the night before the dots connected, like I'm so that everything that happened the day before, the night before, the morning of, thank you so much because it was so perfect, right? And I love what you said, and I'm so glad that you've found this in your life because if the parents that are feeling guilt sat next to their child, or sat next to their parent, or sat next to their best friend and shared with them this guilt that they're feeling, the person 100% of the time in return would say, Dad, mom, brother, sister, I was going either way. Like you did everything that you possibly could. This has nothing to do with you. This has to do with the plan. Like I'm good. Like you don't need to worry about it anymore. That's what they would tell them because our boys have told us that, right?
Yeah. I agree 100%. So that's really powerful for sure. Yeah. So on speaking of that, I would just want to chat about like the things that you've been doing in Beck's honor because they're pretty awesome. The first thing that I want to say is, okay, what's the 1+1 thing?
Dude, his favorite number's 13, so I got 13 here. And just instantly when he passed away, I'm like, I had this realization just a weekend where it's like, okay, so now it's one person on earth and one person in heaven. and us together is greater than the sum of us individually. So 1 + 1 actually equals 3. So that's where that
Oh,
comes
that's
from.
beautiful. I love that. That's really cool. And then he also crossed that 13, eh? He's like, I'm getting out of here before things get too
Dude,
hard.
he's not
Like,
dumb.
no, let's be real. Our boys were like, okay, this is the best time of our life.
It really is. It
We're
really
getting out.
is.
It
Yes,
truthfully is, right? Like, I mean, life is not all doom and gloom, but it's hard. And anybody
it
that tells you
is.
it's not is bullshitting. It's like
Uh,
it is tough, right? So, I mean, where they are, I don't think it's as extreme as here. We're here to learn, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then
Um,
so, oh,
oh,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, are you gonna you want me to tell you about the other things?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then you have the how to speak to God going, which I think that could be even good for parents, could it not be? Yeah.
Yeah. So we created a couple foundations. One is the Be Like Beck Foundation. And here's what's really, really cool. About 2 weeks after he passed, having a conversation with him, and he's like, Dad, you're gonna start this program. It's going to be called Momentous 13. It's going to be for teens 12 to 17. It's going to be at our house. There's going to be these 13 principles. Here's who you're going to ask to come do it with you, be your partner in it. It just laid it all out. And last weekend we had our third event. So we have them every 4 months. Um, and it's unbelievable. We bring the kids in. Um, I was just telling you before, like it just hurts my heart to hear what kids have already started to tell themselves at such an early age. And so we bring them in and we teach them the power of affirmation and how to bring their stress and anxiety and fear to the surface and learn how to release it, and that they're not the only ones that are going through it, and the power of choosing good friends. And anyway, it's just gosh, like it's just so amazing. And when we're doing it, he's just right there, and people are feeling him so strong. And we do a grave site. We go to his grave site. We take the kids to the grave site, and they write their eulogy so that they can basically create, like, who do you want to become? Who do you want to be today?
Oh,
It's so cool.
that
It's
that's
so
really
lots of,
cool.
yeah, lots of cool processes for the teens. I've spent a lot of time traveling around speaking to sports teams because that was his love, and just talking to him about um, the different things that kids can do to thrive instead of survive. And then we started another foundation called How to Speak to God. And really what it is it's whether you believe in God or Christ or Allah or Buddha or whatever it is, like how to connect with higher source, how to connect with yourself, and then if it's important to you, how to connect to the other side. And that's just been, again, same thing. Wife gets woken up in the middle of the night. You're going to create this course. Here's where does it start? And that has been so amazing. So I crack jokes about all the time. He's a bit of a slave driver. He's running me into the ground here and there. Like he's always got something new, and I'm
He's
here for it. I love it.
Yeah. You know what? He knows you're listening. So it's like
For
he's
sure.
loving it. He's like you're elevating him. Like you said, it's progress on the other side. Like we're just helping them get better by doing all this stuff.
For
So good
sure.
for you.
For sure.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
And yeah, and I guess we'll just finish off with like, is there any piece of advice that you would give a new grieving parent right now? So like day one, fresh off the bat, what would you say just to like let them know that there's a little bit of light?
Oh gosh. Um, some of the things we've touched on. Your child is safe. That's so important. Your child is happy. Your child is thriving. Um, he doesn't want to come back. Like, and that may sound harsh, but I'm so happy. If he's going to be up there, I want him to have the time of his life, and he's having the time of his life. So I just want grieving parents to know, like, they're okay. They're doing great. They're doing special things. I would also encourage you to find a way to connect with them. I was telling Amanda, every day, legions of angels come to listen to me and Beckham talk. And I asked him one time, like, why do these guys come? Like, why do they come? So many of them. And he's like, They want so bad to talk to their family. And when they can't, they do the next best thing, and that's hear us talk. And that's so special to them. So um, find ways, and there's lots of tools out there that can teach you how to connect to your kids, because I promise you they would love to do it. I'm telling you that the grieving thing has been an absolute game changer. Going in my closet and going as deep and as dark as I can for 10 minutes has healed my heart so incredibly fast. And that's what Beckham wants. I've had a couple conversations with him where I'm like, dude, like I feel like I'm really crushing this. And he's like, and I feel like guilt. Like, I'm sorry that I'm not like laying in my bed all day grieving. And he's like, "Dad, are you kidding me? I don't want that. So don't want that for yourself." And so it, oh, man, that 10 minutes of grief is so powerful. Breath work
Yeah.
has been amazing. Breath work has been so amazing for me because it helps me connect to him very, very strongly. But most importantly, like, they're doing awesome. They're safe. They're loving life. That was really helpful to me.
Yeah. And they're still a part of our life now. They know what's going
Yes,
on. They are here. Like they even know what's about to happen too, and they can address and guide. And honestly, that's what they're here for. So yeah, I agree 100%.
he is my greatest guide. It's cool because I'll ask questions, and when I first started asking him, he'd answer it, and that was the end of it. And I'd be like, dude, why don't you like expand on that a little bit? And he's like, Dad, there's rules in heaven. Like, you guys have free agency. He's like, if you want to know more, you have to ask the next level of question. And dude, what I've learned from him has just been so cool. So he is my greatest guide, period.
Yeah. And I know we've chatted before about like, we have other children and the love is always different within people, like you love everybody for their own reasons
Hmm.
and who they are, but it's like I know we've chatted, it's like the bond with the boys was just it was something deeper, greater, you loved them a little bit harder, you held them a little longer, you chatted with them a little bit deeper, and I think it's because, A, we knew that they were gonna be here shorter, but B, we have now to keep that connection, right? So the bond
Hmm.
was just so great so that we are able to do that. So it's such a blessing, and I'm so glad that you have it.
And parents, you crushed it. Like, they're not mad, they're not sad, they're not angry, they're so happy. So the
Yeah.
guilt, the shame, like, you guys did such an amazing job. They're just so grateful. Trust me, I know he
Roman,
tells me every
yeah.
day.
Roman always tells me that's human stuff. Literally, he'll be like, that's human
That's
stuff. We don't
awesome.
have that up here. Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome. I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Marc, for having you and like coming on with us. It honestly means the world. And I know that you are going to, make a lasting impact in the things that you're doing there, but also just doing stuff like this, hopping on and sharing light and love and letting people know there's hope. And I think that that's, amazing.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, and thanks, boys, for
Yeah, we
making us
love you
get together.
guys.
Yeah, they're the best. Yeah, awesome.